Hey everyone, welcome to another top 10 list. This week's top 10 list hopefully doesn't get me in trouble. It's my top 10 counterfeit notes. I know they're counterfeit, they're all marked counterfeit. I'm not trying to sell them. I have these for educational purposes only. I'm not trying to pass them. I'm not trying to say that they're anything other than exactly what they are, which is counterfeit notes. And they all are contemporary counterfeits. They're of the time, most likely tried to be spent during the time that you would have saw these notes in circulation. I'm pretty sure the large size notes are fine. I do have one small size note, and that one kind of makes me wonder, but this is for educational purposes, and that's why I have it, to educate you guys. All right, so let's get started. Number 10. This is really cool. This is from the John Hancock Bank. I guess it's a $3 note. I'm a huge fan of the $3 notes. I collect $3 notes whenever I can find them at a good price. This one isn't in the greatest of condition. Nothing written on the back. You can see the 3 overprint that bleeds through it a little bit. The thing is that when you try to find this bank, it doesn't exist. And that was the problem with obsolete notes, is that there were so many different banks. Unless you knew the bank, you were just kind of taking the word that these were real. Now, it was listed by the seller at CTF, which is your standard abbreviation for counterfeit. But looking at the note, it doesn't say counterfeit on it anywhere. But once again, I can't find the bank. Still, to have John Hancock on there with his famous signature, that's impressive. That one is number 10. Number 9. Another obsolete bank. This one actually is stamped counterfeit right here. You can see, I don't know if you can make that out or not. It's very difficult to read. But it is a $1 from the Merchants Bank, $1 Merchants Bank of Providence, Rhode Island. And this one is a counterfeit. And when you try to zoom in, you're going to see that all this kind of blurs. There is no detail in any of the pictures. That's one of the ways that you can tell it was counterfeit. Still looks like it was hand numbered here. The back is still just stamped counterfeit. Here we go. We'll put that up there. Counterfeit Commercial Bank, Providence. That's what that would be. So someone tried to spend this, and then when it was redeemed at the bank said, nope, that's not going to fly. So that one is number 9. Number 8. Another obsolete currency. This one is from the Hartford Bank. $2. And once again, when you start to look at the detail, that's exactly why those details are in there. They just kind of break away and you don't necessarily see it. It's been marked counterfeit right there. $5 from the state of Connecticut. And when we look at the back, I mean, that's, you can see that it looks like they, I don't want to say they photographed it, but it looks like they had a rough note, and that's kind of what it looks like. So I don't know how they ended up doing it. Not worried about how, I'm just worried about what it is. And yeah, that's pretty cool. But it's interesting because the paper itself is not ripped. Only the, let's take that out of there and take a look. Oh, it is on a backing. Okay. So they took the front of this note and the back of this note and mounted it and tried to pass it off that way. That's interesting. Yep. The devil's in the details right there. That's where you can tell that. Still a very cool counterfeit note, even though it was pieced together. I mean, that's what you're going to find with counterfeit notes. That one is number 8. Number 7. This one is not going to be spent anywhere. Another $3 note, and you can see it was stamped with a giant counterfeit. Bank of, looks like NH maybe, but not quite sure. Let's see. Trying to read Southport, 1857. Southport Bank. Once again, another $3 from the state of Connecticut, and nothing on the back, but this one was clearly caught in circulation and stamped counterfeit. Probably got back out as soon as the bank folded. That one is number 7. Number 6. Here is my first and only iffy. This, as you can see, is from 1928A. And it is a silver certificate. It's been marked counterfeit. It's got the lines on it. There is no spending this. It is not real. Here is a real one. I got the real one. Now it's interesting because when you put the counterfeit and the real one next to each other, the counterfeit is actually smaller. There we go. If I line up this side, you can see it's shorter. I have the feeling that this was created by bleaching a foreign bill and then printing this on here. When you look up real close, once again, all of those intricate patterns just kind of seem to blur into each other and chip away. When you look at the face, that is not exactly the quality that you're expecting to see. There's that, there's that. When you look at the fine lines in one, I don't know if my camera's even going to show them. There we go. And compare that to the counterfeit, it just looks weird. When you look at the back, once again, see this pattern, how it's just all blotchy compared to the real one, where you can actually see the pattern. I mean, it's clear as day. This one's real and this one is fake. You don't even have to hold the two together. You can see this one and understand something is wrong with this one. So that one is number 6. Number 5. Here is a 1914 $10 Federal Reserve counterfeit. It's been marked counterfeit. Take a look at the back of this one. Once again, it's such a similar way where all of the inking on here just looks like it's kind of chipping away. It's just not focusing right. You can see here, stuff is all blurred together. You know, it's very interesting to handle these. When you look at the intricate details of the note, there's just such a mess, you know. Even here with the seal, all this should be uniform, and you get blotches here and thin spots here, and just so much wrong with it. When you look at the face, there's too much contrast, and you can see chunks that are missing compared to the real thing. Once again, look at those two faces. I mean, this is all smooth, even though it's just fine lines. When you zoom in, it's just fine lines, but here, those lines are obvious. When you look at the seals, every aspect of this seal is uniform. And this is dark here, it's light here, it's not the same. This one's dark, this one's light, this is dark. You know, nothing is the same like that. They're just, the quality isn't there. When you look at the pattern here, you can actually see the pattern versus here where it's just broken away. When you look at the back, let's see, look at the pattern up top versus here. You can see the gentle wave, and here it's just all broken up. When you want to look at the pictures, it's like the contrast is way too dark here. I mean, these are all supposed to be fine lines, and you have black patches, because when you look here, those black patches are actually fine lines very close to each other. So a very interesting side-by-side comparison with the $10 Federal Reserve note. That one is number 5. Number 4. This was one of my more recent pickups. This is from 1861. This is a Type 31 Confederate States of America note. And what's interesting about these is the handwritten serial numbers, number 364. Most of the counterfeits have this number. In fact, in the counterfeit book I have, that's the number that's listed. So it was just neat seeing that. When you look here, I mean, that's almost a childish picture right here. The swirl patterns and stuff are almost non-existent. When you look at the faces here, I mean, it looks like a kid's drawing. Just all of them are just incomplete compared to the real one. Here's the real one. Here, let's look here, side by side at this image, even in rough condition, versus this image. I mean, you can see such a difference. This is an actual dress. This is just lines. Let's look at the faces up here. Those faces are ghostly, and these faces are legit. When we check out the statue, I mean, that's, I don't even know what to say. Well, there we go. Get them both in frame there. Then also look at the patterns here. Here you can see pattern, and here there is no pattern. It's just concentric lines. The backs, I believe, are the same. There's nothing different on the back. Yeah. And here the serial numbers are handwritten, where here the serial numbers are actually the same print as here. This ink is the same as this ink, where this ink here, that's definitely a different pen. So interesting to see these side by side. That was number 4. Number 3. I bet this ended up at a horse track somewhere. This is an 1862 $2 counterfeit. You can see it says counterfeit on it right there. Once again, the problem is in the patterns and the details. It's just all washed together. When you compare it to a regular one, you're going to see here, I think this is the date 1864 is when this was discovered as a counterfeit. These are all supposed to be intricate patterns, and it's just all blurred together compared to a regular one. There's the regular note. And when we look side by side, look at the intricate detail versus the blotchiness. Look at the top. Uniform. Every single one is uniform regardless of how worn the note is. Where these, this whole thing is dark. This one's got a spot here. This one's got a spot here. Look at how light this one is. This is uniform regardless of condition. When we look at the back, look at the detail there versus that mess. I mean, it's just so clear that what the real one is compared to the fake. And with this being most likely a horse track find, I find that pretty cool. So that one's number 3. Number 2, from the same year. This is also a 1862 legal tender. This one's the $1 note. $1 legal tender. You're going to see a lot of the same problems when you look at the back. Most of the intricate detail is pretty much mush. The front of the note's pretty well faded as well. We can compare that to the real deal. Let's start off with the green is a completely different color. The green that they use to print notes is not supposed to be allowed by anyone else. That's why that green was so important, and you can clearly see the difference in the greens, aside from the difference in the pattern itself. If we try to line this up, I believe this one's short as well. Yep, that's lined up on that side. And you can see it comes up short, so it may have been an obsolete banknote that was used. You can see the difference here. Once again, here you can see the intricate design. Here, nothing. It's just a mess. And on the back, once again, look at the detail versus the mess. So, just cool to see these two side by side like that. The 1862 $1 legal tender and the fake. And finally, number 1, an 1899 Chief note. This one's pretty rough. Clearly a counterfeit. Yes, it's been torn. When you look at it up close, yeah, that's a mess. Looking at the back, also stamped counterfeit there. Without a doubt, counterfeit. When you hold this up to the real one, here's the real one. Let's look at the Chief. There's the Chief. Look at that mess. Even here, you can see the pattern here in the V, and the pattern here, how it's blotchy up top. When you look at the seal, oh, that's convenient. The seal is uniform, and here it's broken up. When we look at the back, look at the detail. And look, you can't even tell what that design was supposed to be. It's just hideous. And of course, the color green is wrong too. I mean, it's close, but it's still wrong. So those are my top 10 counterfeits. If you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.